Hello, it's John from Bright Wargaming and welcome to another video. And today we are going to be doing some unboxing for Kings of War Armada by Mantic Games. So today we are going to be unboxing the Elves Starter Fleet. So here it is, guys, the Elves Starter Fleet. You can see, so all I've done is taken the cellophane off the outside just so that I can get to it easier and so it's less shiny for you. You can see in terms of the box art, there is the, I think that's called the leaf blade. I think you can also build that one in a separate configuration, which is called the Pride of Adar. Then you've got that one there, which I think is called a Draken's Fury. You've got that last one there, which is a Storm Chaser. And then you've got clearly all the cards, specific elf spells and spell books, and then all the sort of specific elf rules and upgrades that you can apply in game. Cool. Right. So let's get this thing open and see what it's all about. Right. First of all, let's get rid of the main box. First of all, we've got all the cards and what have you. So let's get these open and see what they're all about. Just have a quick flick through them and then we'll get onto the models. Right, so you've got a mix of normal sort of playing card size things, and the playing cards are the look to be the spellbook. So that's how you build your spellbook for a game. So that's how many of each you get, and then a specific spell for the elves is this one here. Target's casting ship, friendly ship within 8 inches. Targeted ship is able to immediately shoot its normal weapons from one of its weapons positions for free. So that's pretty cool. So that is essentially a free shot. So, but that looks like that occurs in the magic phase. So that's going to be I think quite a useful, if a little sort of context specific, but quite a useful spell, that one. So quite like the look of that. Let's put them away. Keep them nice and clean before I get them in protector sleeves. Right, and then you're on to the ship guards. So leaf blade. So that's the large one. Which looks pretty useful. We've then got the character option of it, which is the Pride of Adar, which has increased nerve and structure points, moves slightly slower and is slightly more expensive. In terms of armament, rather than having one close at the front, one at the back, it's got 2 at the front. In terms of how I'm going to build it, I think I'm going to go for the leaf blade, because I'm quite liking the fact that all of these are really fast, and I want to keep the whole fleet really fast and nimble. Then on to the Draken's Fury, which is a really cool one. So movement 6 as a medium ship. Not too bad in terms of nerve and structure points, still a bit of a glass cannon. But what's useful is this is indirect weapon and a whole load of shots that it can put out. So what you're doing is you're crit hunting, for want of a better phrase, crit hunting at range. So I like that. I may well get more than one of those. And Storm Chaser, which I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to use this, but the thing is that it's super fast, it's pretty cheap, and it carries some pretty tasty, if you can sort of just get that sort of really quick sort of zooming past at close range. That might be how we use this one, but I'll need to get lots of play tests in. Right, rules, Master of the Waves. So essentially you get a second turn at the end of your first move step, which is quite cool. And Elven Eyes, you don't suffer the -1 modifier when shooting at targets over 10 inches. So when you look at all the light guns that the ships are carrying. They're carrying lots and lots of light guns. So what does that mean? It means you can shoot at range, and you're not suffering with the -1 modifier. So you're firing lots of those. So that is again sort of crit hunting at range. So I think that's how you maybe want to play these guys. And then you've got upgrades, and so I'll just sort of leave them there and let you hit pause and read those in your own time. I think this one's the one I like the most. So auto critting light weapon in the front of a ship. Captain's upgrades, and then just the Elf Fleet rules. Right, okay, that's enough of that. Let's put those away and we'll get on to getting the resin. So in the box you've got 2 big baggies of resin. You've then clearly got some bases, which is a large, medium and small. And then you've got all the markers for upgrades. It's all quite useful. Right. So let's move one of these away and let's focus on the first bag. Let's just pour all this out because there is quite a lot of resin to go through. Right, so we have so initial inspection. This all looks really rather nice again, as has been come to expected from the last one I had, which I had the extra large, which was absolutely awesome. So that's a really nice bit of casting there. So that is, you're then talking about 2 different citadels that you can put on that one. So that's the one in the left is the Leaf Blade, and the one on the right is Pride of Adar. Right, I think that the key thing is with the Leaf Blade is that is a heavy gun. So that goes at the back. And I think if you look at the imagery on the box, they've got this the other way around, so I think they put it together wrong. So my view is that that's a heavy gun, that goes to the back. Cool. So that's that. I think the front of that ship is in the other bag. What's this? This is the Draken's Fury, and if you look at the side you can see there's still a load of release agent on that. You see all the shine coming up. So, like with all these things, then you just need a really, really solid scrub with dishwasher soap to get those out. Then you've got a load of different outboards. Right, get some of this out of the way. Those are, so that is the Citadel for the little one, which, what's it called? It's called the Wave Runner or something. I've forgotten the name already. Doesn't matter. So that's the Citadel for the little one, and a couple of outboards. So again, just nice little sort of nubbins that go in there, and they just kind of fit together like that. And where's the other one? Like that. So even though she's a small ship, actually, it's still a pretty decent sized mini. So I think that's quite cool. Right, so that's that. And then we've got 2 outboards for the Draken's Fury. It looks like the Citadel for that one's in the other bag, so we'll get to that in just a sec. Let's clear all that away. Which looks like there is a whole lot of sails. Right. Okay, so there looks like essentially you get lots of repeats. So those sort of front sails are common. You've got a common large sail, which you get, oh, that was a bit bent, needs a bit of hot water treatment on that. You get 1, 2, 3 of those. You get one diddy one. So the way I think that goes is the leaf blade gets 2 of those and 1 of those. The Draken's Fury gets 1 of those and 1 of those. And then the little one, name escapes me, gets the little one. So that all makes sense to me. So with at least those 3, I'm going to do the same thing as I did last time. I'm going to be taking the nubbin off the end and drilling up through it and then drilling down through the hull to get that sort of more secure fixing, and then gives it a fixing point onto the base. And I'll show that when I've got these built. And then last but not least, so let's move all these sails out of the way. It's an awful lot of resin for not very much money. So you've got 1, 2 prows for the large ship, depending on which one you want to use. And then you've got the so this cross piece, which essentially is what connects the outriggers from the Draken's Fury to the main hull. So it's a trimaran. And what I'm going to do, so what I learned from doing my extra large ship was that actually sticking the multi-hull ships together before you paint them makes them a complete pain in the backside to paint. So what I'm going to do is just stick this onto the main hull and then paint them up and then attach the 2 outriggers afterwards, because that's just going to make the paint job easier. Or I might do it the other way around, put the 2 outriggers on and then put the main hull on later. I'll decide on that when I come to it. But anyway, so that's the plan, and then that's the gun for the front of the Draken's Fury. But yeah, so let's put that away, and then you've got 2 different hulls. So you get 1 heavy for the leaf blade, which is that one there, and you get 2 heavies for the Pride of Adar, which is that one there. So the one I'm going to use is going to be this one on the right, which you can see they've got slightly different sort of designs on them. Personally, I think that the design on the leaf blade is sleeker, which is quite cool. This one, the Pride of Adar, is more ornate, but I think they're quite cool. They're relatively straight. I think that just needs a little bit of bending over, but other than that, pretty happy. I think the only criticism I have with these, and I get why it's done, it's all to do with how they mould them, and thankfully they've not put them in particularly nasty places, but it's the thickness of these gates and the density of the resin, and it just strikes me that it may be quite difficult to do without sort of some specialist equipment like a razor saw or something like that. But what I'll do is I'll snip it sort of with a good bit proud, and then I'll just tape to it with a knife, just to neaten it up, I think, because I don't have a razor saw. But other than that, I think that's alright. It's not a tiny amount of mould slippage there, but that's very, very easily fixable. Cool. Right, so that's that. Let's go and get them cleaned up and put together. And here they are all built. So this is them here. I've glued this one. I've just glued them all together. There's a little bit of bending to be done at the top of the sails, but otherwise this one's come out really nice. And I think there's enough separation in there that I'll be able to paint them up without any dramas. I've pinned the sails because, again, I didn't like the look of the lug at the bottom, so it's a little bit really, really thin. You can see at the base, but I'm really pleased with how that's come out. Let's look at the big one next. So again, I've gone with the same trick that I've done previously, drilling all the way through and then pinning the sails. A good 2mm pin in there works really nicely, and then that gives something for the boat to lock onto the base as well. And that's her there. She's a real beauty of a ship. Cool, so that one's that there. And then last but not least, the Draken's Fury, which is here. I haven't glued on the outriggers on this one, so this is it, just like this. This one's pinned as well. So I've done that purely so that I can paint the sides more easily, just purely because these outriggers were just a little bit too close to be able to get in and paint the details. So that's what I've done with that, but really pleased with how they've come out. Right, in terms of the bases, what I've done with those is, again, I've just put a 5mm hole into each of them. So this is the base of the Draken's Fury. I've already chucked some spray varnish on these, just nice and thick to seal them. I'll be spraying them grey in a minute, and I'll do a separate video on how I do my bases. But you can see I've just put a 5mm hole in there to put a magnet in, and I've put in the a 2mm hole there, which lines up to the hole in the base. Sail goes through there, comes proud at the bottom, and then through that hole in the bottom of the base, like so. So that'll seat on nicely on there. Okay, so the starter fleet, that's it. Really pleased with how these have come out. I'm going to take them off and prime them up any minute now, and then we'll get them all painted up, and I'll do a separate video on how I paint these. Right, enjoy. Thanks for watching.